What's up, gorgeous? I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Fierce Framework podcast, where we talk about becoming fierce through messy action, baby steps, and cultivating confidence. I'm your host, Mary Beth. I'm a business coach with a passion to see women breaking out of the mold society tells us we're supposed to fit into and to start living life more on our own terms. I believe the world benefits when women are living lives that we're lit up about and we're pursuing a purpose that makes us feel fulfilled. My goal with this podcast is to share inspiration, stories of other entrepreneurs just like you, and practical tools and tips to help you become fierce in your business. If that sounds good to you, you're going to love this episode. Let's get down to it. What's up, gorgeous? Today's episode is an interview with my friend Lisa. I'm so excited to introduce you to her. We chatted up a storm, so it is a two-parter. We'll have our first episode and then our second episode 1 week apart. And I am just so excited for you to meet her. Lisa's story, embodies so many of the things that I love talking about on this podcast. Taking courageous action and being willing to bet on yourself and taking messy action and just like having the courage to take the leap and go for what you want in this life. So I feel like her journey in the past year or so is such a powerful example of how to break out of that mold that society tells us we're supposed to fit into and start living life for yourself and more on your own terms. And as if you've been listening to the podcast, like that's what I'm all about. And Lisa is just such a powerful example of so many of those concepts that I think are so important and that I love to talk about on the show. So I can't wait to introduce you to her. I think you're going to love her. So let's jump into it.
So coming back to being, which is what we're talking about right now.
It's her podcast. I'm so sorry.
Correct. It is my breakfast. Get out of here. No, just kidding.
I'm just going to, I'll be over here.
Right. So this is where we've come. This is what I wanted to talk about is because in quitting my job, I feel like this is where I was supposed to be brought to. This point of you didn't have a backup plan for a reason because you're meant to be living in the present moment, not the future moment.
Okay.
Literally, like
you wouldn't have to figure it out if you had a backup plan.
Correct. And okay, like listen, we're all manifesting girlies, right? Like, hello. Aren't we all doing that? Right? I'm doing it. You're doing it. Like, we're all doing it. Like, yeah, we have things that we're working for and we want in our lives. Yeah. We all want better lives and we all are like, yeah, we want to be rich. We want to be XYZ. We want these things in our lives. Yeah. Excellent. Check, check, check. We're doing the steps for those things. But also, on the flip side of it,
and
correct. We are perfect as we are without any of that in our lives as beings because we are human beings. We are not human doings. We don't have to do all this shit to make it happen the way we think we do and the way people are trying to bust their asses, right? I mean, like, that's what they do, though, right? They're like, you gotta grind. And it's like, why? Because that's the culture that we've been taught, like, hey, this is what we have to do. I mean, right. But, like, it's like, do we?
Right.
Do we? Because what I have been learning in my time of rest is what I've been calling it in my break of work. Is that the more that I lean into just being who I was created to be, which whatever you believe spiritually, like whatever, like you exist as a being. The more I lean into my being, like there's a purpose in that. right?
Yes.
And when you fully embrace that, you're coming into a vibrational frequency, right?
Right.
And you're going to attract exactly what you're meant to have.
Mm.
Right?
I love the look. She's like,
but I mean, it's like, right. But it's like, I want the things that I want.
Right.
And there's a reason I want them.
Yes.
And so I shouldn't have to strive so hard.
What you seek is seeking you.
Well, it's like you attract what you are.
Yeah.
Not what you want. Like
say that again.
Right. So it's like if you are fully coming into your being, you need to just sit in your being. And then you raise your vibrational frequency to that. You automatically are going to attract what you're meant to have.
I love that.
So that's why I was like, that's what I need to talk about.
Obviously.
And I'm not saying, hey, everyone go quit your jobs. Like, so don't hear me there. That was my journey. Does not need to be your journey.
Don't sue us if that doesn't work out.
Right? Like, what happened here? No, but I mean, like, we get so caught up in listening to all the other voices of you need to be this, you need to be that, you should be doing this, you should be doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you need to start listening to your heart and start listening to, okay, who am I really? Who am I created to be? And start sitting with, okay, what do I already have? And I'm not actually in lack because I already have so much abundance within me, right? Like all of my needs are already met.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't have a job. Every single one of my needs is met. I already have everything that I need. I have it already.
Yeah.
Like I'm already so abundant in everything.
I love that.
And so it's just like, I don't know. It's been such a good year and like season for me, and like I'm excited for what's to go. Like I know announcements. Like like who knows? Could be homeless.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
Listen, the universe might be laughing at me, but
let's find out.
Yeah, we will. We will find out this year. Like, stay tuned. Mary Beth will keep you updated. Like, but I mean, also it's just like just sitting knowing that like I'm perfect exactly as I am, and I don't have to be anything else other than what I am. I don't have to compare myself and say, wow, Mary Beth has already put out this content. Like but it's also like, if I were to say the same things that you put out, like I have a different voice too. It's like, I would say it in a different way, even if it's the same topic, you know. Absolutely. It's like, I don't need to compare myself to you either, you know? So I don't know.
Well, I love that because, like, I mean, so much of what I talk about is stuff that I've learned through books or other podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not new information necessarily, but yeah, it's just
everything on the podcast is stuff somebody else has already said.
The lens and filter through which we all get information and then like disseminate it out. It's like the human experience. Like, I don't know, but
because you receive things differently from different people.
Yeah, also. We all have different perspectives on stuff. It's how we learn from each other. But I know it's been an interesting year for sure. It's been a fun year, but it's more fun now than it was at the beginning. I guess a year ago, but
I also love what you said about listening to yourself and about how we are raised and like trained to listen to everybody else and to kind of shut our intuition down with like everything that we should be doing and things that everybody else is telling us to want and to be and to work towards.
Yeah, I think that there's not like a one size fits. Like for me, it was like I was raised religious, and it was like I was very naturally curious And so like I had questions about stuff all the time, but it was like my questions were always shut, and they're like, you need to stop. And it was like, okay, well, the way I asked questions came off as defiance rather than me just wanting to know more information. And so it's very misunderstood. But it like kind of squelched that curiosity. And so it's like I'm learning how to be curious about things again. But like me being curious about stuff is not a bad thing.
Right.
It was just like the environment that I was in was not fostering to that. But like me being a curious person like isn't a bad thing. It's just misunderstood. But yeah,
I love how so much of like the healing and growing journey is like going back.
Yeah, it is.
To how we were before we got fucked up. Like before we got shut down, before people told us our dreams were stupid, before people told us that like that's impractical.
Literally, I have a bumper sticker on my car that says "Get in, loser. We're embracing childlike wonder," or something like that. Like, but like sometimes I will literally
also
just
love
do.
You don't know what it says. Sorry to
something along the lines like it's a rough idea, whatever. But yeah, I mean sometimes I'll like do my hair in like space buns because like it makes me feel like a kid, or like just whatever I want to do that like makes me feel good or like my inner child feel good. Like do it. Like do it. There aren't rules for I mean, like, okay, there's like laws that we have to follow, but like there's no real rules for life, right? Like there aren't.
Right.
We can do life however you want.
Yeah.
Also, it's like I also, when I was going through this like transformation process last year, it was huge mindset shift for me. Not only when I gave myself permission to change my mind, but when I allowed myself to stop living my life for other people's opinions.
Talk about it.
And it was like, because I was constantly being like, oh my God, what are they going to think about that?
Yeah.
Or what are they going to think when I do this or that? And it was like, okay, well, now I just don't care anymore because they aren't living my life. I'm living my life.
Right.
It has no impact on them, really.
Yeah, and they don't have to live with the consequences.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
And like, most of the time, they're not even thinking about you the way that you think that they're thinking about you.
Right.
And if they are, or they're telling you that, they're probably toxic anyways. So they probably shouldn't be in your life. But yeah, like I would be so obsessed with thinking about what these other people were thinking about me. And it was like literally like just consuming, like I was giving them free real estate in my mind.
Yeah.
About my life. And it's like, wow, I can use all of that real estate now to dream up my own life instead of giving away to people who don't even know that I'm thinking about them. like imagine like you're in your house just doing whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, what does Mary Bear think about me if I'm like, like
yeah, you should not worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you shouldn't even worry about it. Like, but yeah, like you should live your life for you and no one else, because in 30 years from now, like who's it going to affect?
Yeah.
You.
Right. Yeah.
Not them.
Yeah. I love that, because it's like you can check all the boxes and like you can do all the shoulds. You could live your entire life the way somebody else tells you you're supposed to live it. But at the end of the day, like they're not going to hand you a trophy.
Right.
They're not going to be there to make sure that it works out. There's no guarantee that if you do everything the right way, that you're going to be okay, or that you're going to be happy, or that like...
Right.
But we put so much power, we give so much power to other people.
Yeah. When you're dealing with like a toxic work environment, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go above and beyond and above and beyond. And you're like, what are you getting in return for that? You're like, nothing. You're like, why are you doing that then?
You get more work.
Yeah. But it's like, is it worth it?
No.
Is it worth your happiness? Is it worth XYZ? Like, if you find value in that, okay. Like, you have to decide for yourself what you want for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so powerful because it's different for everybody too. Like, you're talking about the toxic work environment. And yeah, like I'm in corporate right now. Don't love it, but it's a tool. Like, it's a runway while I'm building my business. But for someone else, it might just be a trap. Or for someone else, like, so that's why it's so powerful.
So, it's so funny.
Because it's what you make it mean.
Correct. Right. Everyone has different definitions. So, as we were setting up for this.
Oh, God.
We had a little moment about like rearranging the furniture. Like, this is their first time doing it in person. And I think it's so fun for us to do this, right? It's so fun and whatever. I have no problem doing I'm like, let's do it. Yeah, whatever. And Marima's like, this is such a stretching experience for me.
Okay, no, because we checked out 3 levels of the house. We rearranged furniture in 2 floors.
Yeah. I'm like...
So you're making it sound like I was like stressed out about plugging your microphone in.
For me, this is this is my only podcast episode. I want to make it a cozy environment. So for me, this is one experience. For you, it's a different experience. That's what I'm saying. Remember, I was like, we're going to talk about it.
You're so good at this. Yeah, you just brought
that full circle. You brought it. You presented the opportunity, and I said, I'm jumping in. But yeah, like we all have different experiences and meaning. For me, it was like, it's my one episode. I want it to look very cute and cozy. I'm willing to go through all of these extra steps, and I don't mind at all. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'll pop around here, whatever. I don't care. Whatever, it's fine. I'll jump on the couch. I'll do this or that. And Mary was like, okay, well, that's great. I'm just going to do Zoom every other episode. It's fine. I don't care.
I was like, is that worth it?
And I'm like, it's totally worth it. It's fun. Let's do it. Like, let's go all out. Like, there's just a season I'm in. Like, I'm just like, hey, I want to do it. Like, I'm fine putting in all of the extra effort because I think it's fun and I think it's worth doing just to do something really fun. And it's whatever you find meaning in and find the time. Like, if you find it worth it, do it. If you don't.
And
I love perfect example of it.
It is. It is, because like you getting to that place and giving yourself that permission also, like, then you held that space for me.
Yeah.
And so people say, like, you know, when you start pursuing things you're passionate about, when you start letting go of other people's expectations, that you're inspiring other people. And like, that's easy to say, but I love that this is such a concrete example that like you wanted this experience. You gave yourself permission to want that and to give yourself what you want.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah.
And then because of that, you like created that space for me as well.
Yeah.
And you're like, come into this cozy podcast environment. Like, and now I'm here. And I'm like, I do love it here. You were right. You're always right.
Not always. But don't quit your jobs. No, just kidding.
Different for everyone.
Everyone has their own journey.
You're the one who has to live with the consequences of your actions.
All my needs are met. Anyways, yeah, sit in your being, sit out in nature. That's something I've been doing, has been like just trying to connect with like the world around me and like be very present in the moment and not try to think about like, okay, how is this gonna work out?
Yeah,
5 years from now, or like even later this month, you know, just be like, okay, what about today?
Yeah,
like, what is today? And like, because I think sometimes we get so caught up in the future, we don't live in the now.
Yeah.
You know, we get so caught up in, okay, well, what's going to happen next? We're not here and now. We miss the now.
Yeah.
And so that's been like a huge blessing about not having control.
Yeah.
Is like really getting to like delve in and take in like the slower living of like, okay, wow, I can actually like go out and like take a nature walk and like listen to birds sing and like reconnect with like, okay, I'm a being who is part of all of this. Like, I have a role to play in this and I don't fully know what it is other than maybe it's just this, just taking a walk in all of this. Like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's been really neat, but that's my story, I guess.
I love it. Well, and like it's so powerful because I think that so many of us are like living in burnout, or especially neurodivergence, like living in functional freeze. And so it's like having the space to be able to do those things.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even if it's like 5 minutes of just disconnecting from your phone, disconnecting from a screen, and like not having to have the constant stimulation of something.
Well, because you're not even on social media right now, right?
I'm taking breaks, because in obviously not having a job, I have lots of time. And I found myself really like delving into that. And I was like, you need to create some boundaries around this. And so I pulled myself off of that because I was like, I don't want to be in this all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the beginning of December, I logged off everything and I was like, I'm not going to do this. So yeah.
Well, I think that's powerful too, because like it's not just about quitting your job. It's about like crafting your life now.
Correct.
Yeah,
like, you have the power to create whatever reality you want.
That was like a healthy, intentional decision. Like, this is not what I want for myself. This is not the future I want to be building in the now. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and I will probably be back on social media at some point. Just right now, it's
and I think that's fine because you can always change your mind.
Correct. You have the permission to change your mind at any time you want to.
I love it. Yeah. I love that you shared like so many of your examples were like very easy.
Ooh,
like putting your hair in space buns, taking nature walks. Like,
here's a really good one. That was a really great thing that I learned in therapy. Well, didn't learn in therapy, but was processed through therapy.
Yes.
Rejection is redirection. And you don't want something that doesn't want you.
You don't want someone who doesn't want
Not
you.
Someone, something.
I'm saying it because the majority of my audience is women.
Again, something.
And you don't want something.
So whether that be a person or an opportunity. Okay? So hear me when I say, not even, you say someone, I'm saying something. So again, some of us are manifesting things and you're like, hey, why didn't I get that job? Hey, why didn't this thing come through when I thought it would? You don't want something when it doesn't want you. Rejection is redirection.
Yeah.
And you say, thank you.
I love it. That's powerful.
It is powerful.
That is good stuff. That's part of why I think it's also important to like let it be easy and let things be fun. Because sometimes like
I mean, like that's the thing. It's like I think life should be fun. Like I think honestly, like we were truly like meant to enjoy all of this. And somewhere along the line, it's like we created this world where it's like, why are we struggling so much? It's like we created this reality of like, okay, we have to go through this step and this step and this step. And it's like, okay, it's not working. Like I'm doing all those things and like it's not working. What is happening?
Yeah.
Something is broken, right? Something is broken along the way. It's working for some people. It's not working for the majority of us, though.
Right.
So, can I change your mind?
I'll change your mind. Moral of the story.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
You're so great. What do you have any advice for someone who's like at the beginning of their journey and not really sure like how to get started? Maybe they're dealing with the doubt of like, I don't deserve what I really want, or they don't think they're like cut out for what they want to do. Do you have any additional words of wisdom? Because I love what you shared already.
I mean, first of all, you are a being, so you are perfect exactly as you are. That is just a fact. As is. So if you have trouble believing that, that is a place to start.
That's good.
Is that you are a being, and because of that, you are perfect as you are, and have value infinitely. And anyone that has told you otherwise is lying to you.
You're first.
And if not, so that is a place to start if you don't already believe that. And if you do believe that, fantastic. Because you can't have anything that you want in your life if you don't believe that you're worthy of it.
Say it again.
You cannot have anything in your life if you don't believe that you're worthy of it. Because we attract what we are.
That's good. Okay, I know this is a terrible time to bring this up
okay.
because we're like winding down.
Okay. Let's ramp it back up. No.
Wait, we can't be done. No, because you said we attract what we are. And I love that because that it ties.
She goes, all right.
It ties into why it's so powerful to like be who you actually are instead of who everybody else tells you should be or who you think you should be. Because if you attract who you are and you're pretending to be somebody else,
correct,
you're never going.
You're not going to get
it. It's not going to work
because also you're faking it the whole time.
Yes.
And so you're never actually going to get what you want either.
Yes.
The universe isn't going to give it to you either.
That's why I ramped this back up because I felt like that was so important.
Yeah, that's the thing is like you're faking it and you're like, why am I not getting what I want? It's because one, you're not authentically being yourself.
Yeah.
The universe knows that. Like God's like, I see you. Yeah, like
what is happening? What is this?
One, like you have to be honest with yourself. Someone.
That is someone.
But two, like you have to know that you're worthy of what you want, and you have to believe that you're worthy of it. But yeah, like you have to know that like you have things set aside for you. And they're meant for you, not for someone else.
Yeah.
It's like I have things in store for me, and they're not for Mary Beth.
Yeah. Mary
Beth has things in store for her, and they're not for me. And that's great.
Yeah.
There's beauty in that. Like we each have our own things that we're bringing into the world, and it's okay that they're different. Like, yeah, there is a jealousy aspect of like, right, you were saying like there's this motivation of like, oh my gosh, when I was really, really sad, but it was this motivation of like, yeah, there's these things in my heart that I wanted that I saw other people have, but it wasn't like, oh, I wanted that specific thing that they had necessarily. It was like, yeah, okay, I want to be successful, right? It wasn't like I want that exact success. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difference between envy and jealousy, right? Like you didn't want to take it from them. It just inspired you to identify what you wanted.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, you have a specific thing for you, but you have to unlock it yourself. Like change begins with you, yourself. You decide you're worth it.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to say?
God, I don't know. I hope I remembered everything that I was even gonna say, but hopefully it's the right things. If not, hopefully no one hears it. No.
Everything is what it was meant to be. Well, thank you so much. This was as amazing as I thought it would be. So, this is my friend Lisa, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Amazing, right? I love Lisa so much. I re-listening to that episode to edit it, I just felt like it was so powerful, and she shares so many gems, and I just love like how she's living out this story of moving from a place that you don't want to be at anymore and walking into a new season and a new place in your life and becoming a new person, kind of like taking off those layers and revealing like who you are. And so I hope her story encourages you and empowers you to take those next steps to get where you're trying to go in life. Because as you can see, like with her hearing about her journey and her transformation, like it is just so powerful to be willing to make that change and to take those steps to get where you want to go instead of staying stuck at where you've been. So this is a two-parter series. If you missed the other episode, make sure to check it out because Lisa's got so many amazing gems that she shared. And until next time, keep becoming fierce.